In 1976, I got appointed as an assistant teacher. You were called an assistant teacher, and on the 9th of February 1976, I was appointed at Mamelodi High, and I was assisted by one of my ex-teachers who loved sports, the late Mr. Philip Lokotwane. He saw me in Petersburg because I had a supplementary exam for my UED. So he saw me and he asked me what was happening. He says, when you leave the institution, supplementary exams, come straight to Mamelodi High. There's a post for you. So on the 9th of February, I started teaching at Mamelodi High. Now remember, you are trained as a teacher, and you are not trained thoroughly like a teacher who goes to a teacher training institution, who is trained for 3 years how to handle a class, blackboard work, and how to summarize your presentation and so on. So we in UD, we did only a year, and the blackboard work was so bad. If you don't stand straight, your letters tend to fall inside the sea as you write on the board. So I started teaching in 1976. I was a very young teacher, a bachelor, and the institution Mamelodi High was loved by most of us who went there. And we had teachers who have trained from colleges like Adams College, who trained at the Kilnerton, the famous Kilnerton institution for teachers, which was under the Methodist Church, and others from Lemana, and we became trained as teachers. But it was a bad year in 1976. That's the year when the 1976 school riot started in Johannesburg, Soweto, and all that spread to the neighboring cities, and then the whole South Africa was on fire in 1976. You went to class, you are still a new teacher, and then there are the learners. They just knock at the door and ask that you release the learners because there's a big occasion better than your lesson at that time. And then you had to release the children. So I started in 1976 and had a tough, we had to duck bullets, stones from learners at that time. And if you are a teacher and there is a word going around that you are a double agent. Now a double agent is somebody who works with the CCB police, and then he's also a teacher. So it's like you are an eye of the police. You look at the students who are very active, who are the so-called instigators. And at times, some of the teachers were singled out, but I was happy that I was not among those, because hey, they knew you. And my background of sports, most of the male students knew me because I was in athletics and in football. So we went on, unfortunately, after June, and that year was not so conducive. But we worked at Mamelodi High. We had the principal called the late Jack Lekala, who was very encouraging and teaching us on how to behave as teachers. And then by the end of the year, there was an interview by the German embassy, and we went for the interviews in town. But those interviews were a different story altogether, because after that interview, I remained quiet. And what was interesting at that interview, we were sitting around and they were interviewing each one of us, and I seated at the end, and I was the only one with a degree, and I was the only one who had done some extra coaching courses like netball, athletics, and the Sports Foundation, which was sponsored by Anton Rupert, the father to Johan Rupert. So I've even gone to courses in Welcome for athletics during school holidays in winter at the mines. So at the end of that interview in 1976, I was the last, and I was interviewed by the Director General, the Dominier Greylen. at the Department of then Education and Training, which was formerly the Department of Bantu Education. It was right at Skading Street, next door to Victoria Hotel, the famous Victoria Hotel, the only hotel when you leave the station, you get into Pretoria is the first hotel you met with. So that interview, I went to the home and completed the first year as a teacher at Mamelodi High. Only in January, they announced the results of that interview. So I taught from January up to the end of March, because actually end of February, because by March the 3rd, on a Sunday, I was boarding a Lufthansa flight to Frankfurt, and school came with me to the Jan Smuts airport then, with 6 buses just to come and bid me farewell. It was like a grand occasion. Going overseas during those years was a rare thing for a black person, and for the first time I was able to obtain a South African passport, and that year I was given study leave as a teacher for the next 20 months. So I went over to Germany to study, came back in 1978 having completed a language course in Germany and in German, and then did a 9 months teacher diploma in sport pedagogics, and then I was allowed a further 3 months as a teacher to do license C in football coaching. And all those things, when I came back into teaching, I implemented them, and I was a successful teacher as far as athletics is concerned and football. My school became a proud winner of the then National Black Schools sports football and netball competition. I think in 1979, 80, 81, we were always the champions of that national sports competition of high schools from Bantu stands and then including central areas. So we would, as a school, compete under the South African schools, and then later combine with the Bantu stands, areas like Gazankulu, Kangwani, Kwandebele, Siskai, Transkei, Buputatswana, and Leboa and Venda, and then Putadichaba, the one for the South Sotho speaking people. So we were both active in the the Republic of South Africa Black Schools. Then we had another competition which included also the Bantu stands. And as a teacher, my interest and passion for sports was well taken off as a teacher. And that made me to be also realized by the normal Mamelodi football clubs. And because also as a teacher I was playing football for a popular team then called Transvaal Blackbirds, which was made up of skillful players in the township who were able to help have a team in the semi-professional division in the NPSL then. So I was one of the players selected by the football administrators in Mamelodi. So as a teacher, I was also playing football, and my learners used to appreciate, although my team was not so much a good performer then. My learners, every Monday when I come in the class, they will want to know what was the score, because we were always trailing teams and being beaten thoroughly. But I enjoyed my teaching. What made my teaching very exciting is the colleagues I had. we were all young, and we all schooled at Mamelodi High, and we did things together, a bit disciplined. We were able to visit each other every month, and we can select that this month end, after we have cashed our check, we must go to Mr. Mativela or to Reverend Unkomo's place, so that we don't visit you the day you are no more. We must know where each teacher stays. So the teaching at Mamelodi High helped me to become a better person as a teacher. Thank you.